This just in, the Eyjafjallajokull volcano eruption has finally been declared to be over after 3 months of inactivity. This volcano is located in southern Iceland and lies beneath the Eyjafjalla Glacier, categorized as a subglacial volcano. Iceland is located along the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which is a divergent boundary that is between the North American Plate and the Eurasian Plate. The eruption began earlier this year with the onset of a cluster of smaller earthquakes that slowly increased in intensity for the next couple of months. By late March, lava had started to rise through an event called the Fimmvörðuháls Pass, which separated the Eyjafjalla Glacier and the Mýrdalsjökull Glacier. In mid-April, lava continued to rise through new fissures and started to vaporize the glacier ice above. This rapid vaporization led to multiple featuromagnetic explosions over the next month, which were caused by magma and water contacting each other. More from Brandon on the impact this eruption had on the people living in the area around it.
Thanks, Max. While roughly 15 eruptions of this scale usually occur each year in Iceland, there was significantly more impact from this eruption in 2010 due to a combination of settled weather patterns, winds blowing towards Europe, very fine ash, and persistent eruption that lasted 39 days. When the eruption began, ash was spewed into the sky, blocking out the sunlight and destroying crops. Having all of that ash in the air made the air quality unsuitable to breathe in, and thus rescuers had to wear masks to protect themselves from choking on the ashen air. Due to extreme heat of the lava flows, glaciers melted and caused mass flooding, even being so dangerous as to wash away roads. The ash also contaminated the water, as it had very high fluoride levels. The impact of this eruption wasn't just isolated in Iceland either. Like I stated before, the winds blowing towards Europe played a significant role in this disaster. The amount of ash that was brought over to Europe was crippling to the airspace industry, as it was brought to a sudden halt during the last half of 2010, costing billions of euros in delays. It's estimated that 130 million euros were lost per day. As you might expect, this major halt also affected the stock prices of the European airlines, dropping between 2.5 to 3.3%. On to Will, showing the environmental impacts of this eruption, habitat damage, local and regional effects of this catastrophic event.
Thanks, Brandon. The eruption of Iceland's Eyjafjallajokull volcano sent a massive ash cloud into our lower atmosphere, around 18,000 feet into the sky. This fine, jagged, and piercing ash formed from the rapidly cooling magma mixing with the glacial air and water nearby. For nearly a month, the ash cloud wreaked havoc across Europe, grounding flights, closing airports, and even roadways, stranding millions of people across Europe. While the eruption created chaos in the skies, experts stated it did not lead to a major climate change. The sulfur oxide released from the eruption causes a minor cooling effect but was contained in our lower atmosphere. However, this eruption did have an interesting side effect. For you ocean nerds, it started a plankton boom. A plankton boom is a spike in biological productivity of plants and animals throughout the oceanic region. Locally, though, the impact was much more severe. Wildlife habitats around the eruption site suffered from dangerous levels of fluoride poisoning caused by consuming high amounts of ash. This poisoning leads to a fatal bone disease in surrounding animals that ingest large amounts of ash, resulting in local animal deaths. Now, Maddie and Sophia discuss how the Icelandic people adapted to these kinds of events and further prevented damage in the future. Thank you.
Some other fun facts about the eruption are that the disruption of air traffic following the event was so heavy that it blocked out the sunlight and destroyed crops. It drove African flower producers out of business while threatening their lives through the delay of organ and bone marrow because of air transport being down in North America and Northern Europe. This delayed industrial supplies between continents as well. The eruption led to other long-lasting effects, such as long-term healthcare plans. It highlighted the need for a new approach to long-term recovery, as well as immediate response to those exposed to volcanic eruptions. It emphasized the importance of future research on the long-term effects of those exposed. Additionally, this disaster brought awareness to the need for the development of psychosocial treatment and support, especially for children, elders, and other vulnerable groups. This disaster has proven the steps the government needs to take for the future. Systematic protection needs to take place to prevent the effects of future disasters. Increasing open and transparent communication towards the public is necessary for the future. This also includes organized and prepared plans, not just coming up with them when natural hazards gain international attention. A new perspective was created from this disaster as aviation policies had major legislative changes as a result of the eruption. The European Aviation Crisis Coordination Cell, the EACCC, was created to facilitate a coordinated European approach to aviation crises in the future. The function of the EACCC is to manage and coordinate actions when circumstances disturb normal aviation operations and revised ASH thresholds.